This is going to be a, I don't know, moderately length video, but very important video about some of the additional material that you can find in mastering. So just to review, right, anytime you want to go to mastering, you always start with the Canvas page, whether you're on the home page or the modules, doesn't matter. My Lab and Mastering should be available as one of the menu options on the side there. So you click on that. Then now you want to open My Lab and Mastering. So this is to do stuff that is not necessarily listed as an assignment, which would take you right to mastering. So here's what our mastering page will look like. You are going to want to go to the study area right there. Click on that. Then you have to launch the study area. Presumably this is because the study area is an older website and this version of mastering is newer, so the two don't play well together. This is what the study area should look like. As you can see, there are a large number of resources. Some of them we are going to use as actual assignments, and then some I just want to make you aware of. And I guess we'll just go down in order here. And I forget what some of these are. Study by chapter. So if you want review guides for each chapter, they are there. There is an e-text. I don't remember if you get access to the e-text with our mastering kit or not, but you can see if you get the e-text for the book that would normally go with this website. Here is where we get into the stuff that I want to actually show you and encourage you to play around with. So for each chapter, there are quizzes and practice tests you can take. So if you're not sure how to study and you're just reading your notes over and over again, this is a way to engage with the material and force you to think about it and process the material, which is a better way to study than simply rereading the PowerPoints. So I'm not going to open any of those, but just know there are opportunities here for you to practice answering questions about the material. Some of these animations and videos I may use in the class. I just want you to be aware that they are there. The A&P flicks, let me look at that. That's not going to help us so much. 3D animations. Well, there's some here, right? If we're doing the heart or we're talking about neurons and you want to review resting membrane potential, action potentials, all this other stuff, there are animation videos that you can watch here if you want to do that. Whoops, where were we? Sorry, animations. So AP Flicks, those are not bad. BioFlix you can check out. I'm not going to click on that. It's also just short little videos, but not as good as the A&P Flicks. All of this other stuff I haven't spent a lot of time playing around with, but you certainly can. The histology videos might be something definitely worth looking at, because we're going to have some histology, but this looks like histology that we're not doing this semester, so maybe not. Sorry, I'm just scrolling through. I probably should have done more research before I started this video, but sometimes you just want to get things done. So maybe play around with that. If anything, I would say the A&P Flicks and the BioFlix are places to look, because those are good. Then if I close that, interactive physiology, we may have some actual assignments in. I haven't decided yet because I have to make worksheets to go along with them. But I highly recommend that you spend some time looking at the interactive physiology, because it's little click-through slideshow things with animations and sometimes opportunities for you to interact with the slideshow that just does, I think, a better job than I can do using the static images in PowerPoint, or a better job than I can do with my limited artistic skills drawing things on the whiteboard. So, if you're thinking about electrical activity of the heart, we're going to be doing that again. And let's see, how do I do this? There we go. So you click on the first thing, it tells you the learning goals. And then you can click your way through it. When does it actually get to? So here,
the intrinsic conduction system consists of specialized cardiac cells that establish the heart rate.
Right, so there's some video, there's some voiceover. So instead of just me talking about stuff, there's video and you can see things moving and happening in real time. Here you can see that there's actually a little activity that they have you do where you're going to use the scalpel and cut off parts of the heart and put them into different dishes. I don't know where these things are supposed to go. I just cut something. But you can see it's a little bit interactive. I really recommend just playing around with this, and I'll spend a little time with it during the semester to see which of these videos might work for an actual assignment. But these are all really good ways to review for exams. And the ones that say IP2 are the newer ones where there's actual interactions, and the ones that just say IP are just animations that you click your way through. Either way, they're worth spending some time on because they cover some of the more dynamic and confusing things you're going to see. If you've drifted off for a second, come back, pay attention. This part's really important. Practice Anatomy Lab. This is going to be your friend because we're not going to be in the lab. You are not going to have actual models or actual microscope slides. So there's a lot in here that you can do. So Practice Anatomy Lab is another web environment that you have to open. So I just clicked on Practice Anatomy Lab. Then you have to open Practice Anatomy Lab. So the way it works is the first thing you do is select the resource you want. Do you want to look at the pig? Do you want to look at histology? Do you want to look at models? Whatever it is. Let's just say histology. Given that we're not in the lab using microscopes, histology is going to come into, or histology is going to be something that you're going to want to use. Let's say endocrine system. And here you go, it's a whole bunch of histology slides. Whoops, sorry, that just popped up. I'm not going to have time to edit it out. So if you mouse over things, they show up. You can turn labels on, you can turn labels off. You can make the gallery appear. So there's 21 images here, and here you can scroll through all 21 images and be, oh look, let's look at thyroid. Here's thyroid. Or I want to skip ahead to, the adrenal gland. Very sexy gland, the adrenal gland. Let's see. Sorry, I'm moving kind of quickly. So just play around with that, and I will point out as we go through the semester things that you want to look for in Practice Anatomy Lab. You will also notice that you can have it quiz you, or you can have it give you a lab practical, which is just the same questions, only more of them. So again, this is practice looking at the slide without a label next to it and identifying different tissues. And so the more different ways you can find to practice and process the information, take quizzes, verbally quiz each other, meet together online, discuss things. It really is, studying is really about engaging multiple modes of learning or multiple parts of your brain. So you want to read about it, you want to talk about it, you want to hear about it, you want to see it. It's just everything. So there's that. Practice Anatomy Lab will come in really handy. I will also show you that they have a lot of the same models we have. I have not decided yet how much access you will have to pictures of models this semester. So this may end up being very important. Just to give you an example, I was going to look for senses. Where's senses? Nervous system, special senses. Oh, look, there's an eye. And more pictures of the eye, very similar to the model that we have in lab. There we go. Sorry, my phone was going off. So again, be aware. Practice Anatomy Lab has anatomical models. It has histology. We're not going to use it for the cat because we don't do the cat. We're not going to do the cadaver. But it'll also come in handy for the fetal pig because we're going to do a pig dissection, and that'll help you work your way through that. Going back to the study area. Whoops, how did I end up here? I guess I have to open the study area again. Launch it. All right, a couple more things. Bear with me. I know this is a long video, but you paid for this stuff, so you should be aware of it. Practice Anatomy flashcards. I really like this. I recommend you play around with it. It lets you customize your flashcards. So you're going to have your lab guides like you did in Anatomy and Physiology 1 that tell you what pieces of anatomy you are going to be responsible for, and then you can say, come down here and go, okay, let me make some flashcards for the reproductive system. Hit submit. Wait for a second. I'm going to blame this on the website because my home Wi-Fi has been good lately. Then it should come up with a whole list of anatomical terms to identify on models of the reproductive system. Let's just see what happens if we try that again. There we go. So we hit reproductive system. Now we're going to do anatomical models. Then we're going to hit submit. Oh, I see. We're starting all over again. Anatomical models first, reproductive system, submit. There they are. So then you'll have your list of things that you need to be able to identify, and you'll just say, okay, and look at all the stuff you don't have to identify, like the lactiferous ducts. What do you need to identify? Well, there's part of the penis. Epididymis you need to know. Ductus deferens you need to know. Corpus luteum you need to know. Not ovarian ligament. Prostate. No, you don't need to know that one. Let's just find one more, seminal vesicle. So you click off all the things that you need to know. And then you can either quiz yourself or review. Let's just do review. And it makes flashcards for each item that you selected. This looks to me like vas deferens as part of the spermatic cord. Ductus deferens, vas deferens, same thing. Next up, I'm thinking, what the heck is that? The male, oh, that's the, wow, that's a really bad model. That's the seminal vesicle, but it's so small, it's really hard to see. Oh, that's ductus deferens again? Well, so, okay, apparently not all of these are great. And I don't like that model because yeah, whatever. If it was zoomed in a little better, I'd be able to tell you what it was, but you get the point. There, epididymis, I know that one. You work your way through, is that the deferens again? There you go, deferens again. Prostate. Corpus luteum, yay. There you go. So you just work your way through that, or you can make it a quiz. So that is yet another thing in the study area as it relates to Practice Anatomy Lab. PhysioX, I think I will make a completely different video on, because we are going to use this for some assignments. And then additional study tools. These I don't use very much, but if you want to play around with case studies, just to practice thinking like a nurse or a doctor, you can. I haven't looked at how to make flashcards here, but if you want to, you can make flashcards. I would imagine that this might be a little labor intensive because there's so much in the book that we don't cover because the book is comprehensive and there's no way that the class could be. So yeah, maybe the only thing here that would be interesting would be the clinical case studies. And I've also never done the systems connections because they're usually hokey, stupid stuff. So that is your study area. Can I go back to the study area? Again, please, you've paid for this. Play around with it and start playing around with it now. Don't wait until 2 days before the exam to start looking for different ways to study. Just start trial and error, see what works for you, what doesn't work for you, so that by the time the first exam comes around and you really need to study, you won't have to waste time figuring out how you're going to study. You can just jump right in and do the things that work for you. So again, remember to get there, you click on My Lab and Mastering, then you open My Lab and Mastering, then you click on the study area and launch it, and all of that wonderful stuff is there.